Morning, you lot. Let's have a little look at how to put an antenna and a CB radio in your car. Hopefully, if I turn that around for you, this little demonstration will make it quite easy to understand for you. Not everything is perfect, and I'm going to point things out that aren't perfect at the moment with my little setup, but it seems to work. So let's start with the end of the line, the antenna. The antenna is the most important thing in the whole setup, and setting that up properly is the most important thing. It's incredibly important that your antenna is set up properly. I don't know whether you can see the end of the tip of the antenna all the way up there. Look, this is a Stereo HP 4000. So you need to put it in the middle of the roof because, well, it will work. Is that a bit better? The sun was shining too much the other way. So it will work if you put it in the corners of the roof or anywhere, as long as it's got a good ground, a good earth. But to get optimum receive and transmit, it needs to be in the middle, because this is the way it works. If the antenna is in the rear left-hand corner of the car, or whatever vehicle it's on, it will receive and transmit to the front right-hand side. If the antenna is on the left front corner, it will receive and transmit to the rear right-hand side in that direction, and so on. If it's at the driver's side, front right-hand corner, if the antenna was to be there, it would receive and transmit over there. So it's crossways. I'm sure you can understand how that works. If it's in the middle of the vehicle, car, whatever it may be, it's difficult if you're putting it on a lorry, a tipper lorry, or an Arctic lorry with a tractor unit. You can't put it in the middle, can you? So it has to just be on the cab somewhere. You're not going to get it perfect, but if you've got a car or a van, you can stick it smack bang in the middle of the roof, and then it will receive and transmit all around the whole vehicle. It will receive and transmit equally, or more or less equally. It will never be perfect, but it will receive and transmit more equally around the whole car. Now, I'm using a mag mount, and it's a good idea. You don't have to. It depends how much you care about your roof, your paintwork. These mag mounts have a rubber base to them, and you can, and I have done loads and loads of times, just plonked it straight on the roof. But if you care about your paintwork, you can. I've used old tea towels in the past, so you can do. Just for the purposes of this demonstration, I'm using a microfiber cloth. It's not ideal, because if you're driving down the road at, say, 70 mile an hour, it could start to slide. But if you get a piece of anti-slip, you know them anti-slip mattings, I'm sure you've probably seen them. Just get a little bit of that and plonk it in the middle, and plonk your mag mount on top of that, and it won't slide anywhere, and it will also protect your roof. But make sure you've got a nice clean spot in the middle, and stick your mag mount down there. You can use old tea towels. I've used an old tea towel in the past, and it was on the roof of my van for about 3 years. I didn't move it. It didn't move. It still does a perfectly good job, but if you're using a piece of cloth, it could slide. I don't think it will. I mean, this one's pretty sturdy. I'm not going to be driving around, so I've just done that with a microfiber cloth just to demonstrate that it will still work. A lot of people seem to think that you can't have anything in between the mag mount and the roof. That's not right. I mean, as long as it's not massive, you don't want to put a bloody book in between it, because it won't stick. But you can have a piece of cloth, a piece of material, a non-slip mat, something like that, and it's fine. It gets its ground through the magnetism anyway. So, yeah. The next thing that I want to show you is this. I've done this on purpose to show you. A lot of people trap their cable, their coax cable, in the doors or in the hinges and things, and then they wonder why the cables begin to break up inside, and then that doesn't work after a little while. Route your cables nicely. If you're putting your radio in your car permanently, route the cable in such a way that it's going to be permanent. That's down to you to work out. No one can do that for you other than you. if you're just messing around like I am, route your cable in such a way that it won't get pinched. Put it there, for example, so it won't get pinched quite as easily. Doors. Doors can affect the VSWR on your antenna. Not a lot in a lot of cases, and the sun's probably really shining there. Not a lot in a lot of cases, but if you've got doors open, it can affect it, and it can throw your VSWR out. So bear that in mind. If you're having trouble setting your VSWR, just shut all your doors. Right, now the good bit. We're inside the car now, so you put your aerial on your roof. Hopefully you've taken some notice of some of the things that I said. The thing that you'll find is it doesn't have to be perfect, loads and loads of times I'm in the mood where I can't be bothered to do any of that kind of stuff. I'm only going to be using it for an hour. Plonk the aerial on the roof, plug it into the radio, and it's actually good. It actually works, but hopefully some of the stuff I've said helped you out a little bit. So I've set this up just as demonstration purposes. If you're going to set it up permanently in your car, you'll find a little place to put it and things, and you'll make it all look nice. The way that you set the cabling up doesn't really change. So for the purposes of this demonstration, I've got the VSWR meter, and we've got the radio, and I've got a car battery. I'll show you that in a second. In fact, I'll show you that now. So, a car battery. If you're going to be wiring your CB up into your car, modern day cars, they've got loads and loads of electronics. They're a lot more filtered than they were years ago. Because years ago, when you had coil packs, if you had a petrol car, you had coil packs, and you had all kinds of things, can cause buzzing, bzzz, or tick, 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 or every time you change gear. You might not get that as much now, but you may get other interference from other things inside your car if you've got a modern car. So it's always best practice to wire your radio directly to your car battery. It's got to be 100% directly to your car battery, so you can put your wires through for like a grommet in your firewall, go straight into your battery, and that way you're eliminating hopefully all of potential noise coming from it if you just go straight to your battery. But you can put the cigarette plug on the end of the wires and plug it into your cigarette lighter plug if you want. I've done that for years. I didn't get any noise. The only way to find out if you're going to get any noise, if it's going to cause you any trouble, is to just do it. Don't be afraid and go, what if I do this? What if? It's best to just have have your life filled with, oh well, I tried that, oh well, rather than what if. Don't go with what ifs. If you want to power it with the CB, with a cigarette plug, just put the plug on the end and plug it in. See if you get noise. If you get a load of unbearable noise, take the plug off, wire it directly to the battery, which is the proper way and it's the best way, and see if your noise goes. If it doesn't, you've got another problem. But if it does, you've solved your problem. So I've got a car battery down there for my demonstration, and this is the way that I do it these days anyway. Now let's go to setting up your VSWR. Right, something that I'm going to mention now before I forget. When you set your VSWR on your antenna, if your antenna is too long, the VSWR will be higher on channel 40. It'll be too high on channel 40 than on channel 1. If your aerial is too short, the VSWR will be higher on channel 1, or possibly too high down towards channel 1 than it is on channel 40. So you check it on channel 1, 40 and 25. 1, 40 and 20, not 25, because that's not half of 40. So you do either end and the middle. just mentioning that now because I'll probably forget, and then people will say, you didn't mention how to do the VSWR. Alright? So, I'm not going to be changing the VSWR in this video because, well, the simple reason is I forgot the Allen keys. So, whatever it ends up being is what it ends up being, I'm afraid. So, turn your radio on. Can you see? Is it a bit... Do you want me to zoom in a little bit? Look, how's that? Is that alright for you? Yeah? Oh, I'll do my best for you, don't I? I really do try. I do. Oh, is that too much? We'll go there, shall we? Is that alright for you? Hopefully. So, I've got it wired into the battery. Your antenna goes into the bit where it says antenna in the back of the SWR meter, and where it says transmitter, obviously that is your radio. Goes from your radio into there. So we'll turn that on, and at the moment we're on 19, but we'll go to 20. It should be 20. 27,781, 27,791. Where's the... There it is. I always forget which knobs do what on this radio. I don't use it too often. So, all you have to do... Hopefully you lot know how to calibrate your SWR meters if you're watching this video, but if you don't, I'll quickly brief over it. You key up and you calibrate it until your needle goes to the little infinity sign right on the end. Then you flick it to SWR and then you key up again. We've got a VSWR of 1 with this antenna, which means that is absolutely perfect. We can even... That one's power. That one. Turn the power up a little bit. It's still 1. Let's go to 19 and see if there's anyone around while we're here. Anyone around on this channel? Hello? Anybody about? Quick. There was people on here earlier. There's people on there earlier, so I wondered if they'd come back for a quick recheck so I could prove to you that it works. But hopefully, I know it was a quick one. I know that was a quick one, but really there's not a lot to do. There's not a lot to set up when you're setting up a radio in your car. There's not a lot to do. It's very simple. You put the aerial on the roof. The bit that takes the time is setting the VSWR, but that's why I recommend those stereo antennas, because they've got a little matching coil in them. That bit there is like a little coil, and what it does is it matches, and really you don't really have to adjust the VSWR, but if you do have to, it's the two little Allen, the little grub screws there and there, and you just make the whip longer and shorter. But you really don't really have to. They're bloody good antennas and they work excellently. I've spoken many miles, 60-70 miles and further. I spoke to a bloke called Roy in Corsica. He's very famous around here, using this antenna when it was on top of my van, and I was in a very similar location to where I am now. So yeah, I don't really think that there's a lot else to talk about. Wire it into your car battery if you can, but it's not the end of the world if you put a cigarette plug on the end of it and just plug it in. If you get a load of noise and it's unbearable and you don't like it, just put the wires and wire it directly into your car battery. Or if you would prefer, just put another car battery in your footwell like I do. Depends whether you're doing a permanent installation or if you're just playing around like I am at the moment. Setting your VSWR, simple. I think I've explained that well enough. That's it. There is nothing else to talk about. There is nothing else to do. All I can say now is just enjoy it and see how simple and easy it is to actually do. I'll catch you on the next one. If there's any questions or things you think I've missed, things you think I've got wrong, things you think I haven't explained properly, comment on this video. And if you're subscribed as well, you may be in with a chance of winning some radio gear at some point, because I'll go through all the stuff that I've got, and if there's stuff that I don't want anymore, I tend to just give it away to subscribers. So I'll catch you later on. All the best.